Now, this is honestly insanely fascinating. It's always really interesting to sort of look at the different relationships that exist between our elected officials and when they get along, especially when it comes to people who are not necessarily ideologically aligned, right? So, a Nancy Pelosi and a Bernie Sanders, it's interesting to see that dynamic and what it's like between them. And so, for some reason, Nancy Pelosi has done the exact opposite of what I thought she would do. And that is that she has completely shut down the idea of, oh, let's end the primary. And we're talking like weeks ago where she could have come out and be like, oh, yeah, Bernie would be divisive and Bernie sucks, all that stuff. But all she's done is say, no, let's keep the race going. It's not over yet. And she's basically like, she's not taking the corporate side. It's really now, she's definitely doing stuff behind the scenes, right? And she was doing that a long time ago. So I don't want to leave that out. But her doing this publicly is really interesting. And so here she's going to defend Bernie Sanders again.
In case you were going to ask, no, I don't think Bernie Sanders should get out of the race. I think I'm a grassroots person, a party, grassroots, chair of the California Democratic Party. I know the enthusiasm of supporters for candidates, and they want to see it play out for the ideas, the causes that the candidate advances, for the opportunity for people to show their support. I congratulate both of the candidates as they go into the debate on Sunday. Wish them both well, and I'm very pleased that we're getting a chance now in a narrower field to be able to come close to having a standard bearer for the party. But either one of them, whoever is the one who emerges, the other one is a standard party bearer for a point of view in our party that is very important.
Now, this is absolutely fascinating because I'm trying to grasp what's going on here. I'm trying to figure out the why. I'm trying to figure out why exactly is Nancy Pelosi being actually impartial and actually legit to Bernie Sanders. It's really interesting. Now, there are a couple of things to be taken. There's a lot to be taken in. Bernie Sanders won California by like 8 points, 6 to 8 points or something like that. So he won by a lot, right? 6 to 8 points in California is a lot of votes. And that's why a lot of California politicians didn't endorse Joe Biden before the primary, because you know how embarrassing it is for you as a statewide politician to endorse Joe Biden and then he lose your home state? Like, you know how embarrassing that is? And so that's why Kamala Harris did not endorse Joe Biden, was because the California polls were being really, really horrible for Biden. And so they didn't, she didn't want to be on the bad end of the stick where, oh, look, I endorse Joe Biden and he loses California. This is going to project poorly on me. And I hope her endorsement of Joe Biden projects poorly on her when she's up for re-election, because I think she's up for re-election just 2 years. So hopefully we can, here in California, hopefully we can come together, find someone more progressive, hold Kamala Harris accountable, get rid of her. Unfortunately, Dianne Feinstein, I don't think, is up for re-election for 4 years, which is a while, although there's no way she's going to run for another term. She's a dinosaur. But we need more progressive statewide legislators. We do have some pretty progressive ones at the district level, which is cool, like Ro Khanna. But our statewide people need to be more progressive, man. I don't know what's going on. But there's that aspect. Then the other aspect is she has a challenger, Shahid Buttar, who is now advanced to face her in the general election in November. So that's going to take place. So, that's not necessarily a very good look for her. She's kind of like, oh yeah, screw Bernie Sanders, because then that's going to propel more energy towards Shahid Buttar's race and her opponent, and she doesn't really want to deal with that right now. I don't think she really has the energy for that anyways. So there's those two key aspects that are probably what contribute to this. But also, I think there's a third factor, which is, I think for, people specifically like, Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer in this case, Bernie Sanders is somebody who, he's actually helpful when it comes, like, he actually does stuff. That's the thing, right? Bernie Sanders actually, acts. He actually gets stuff done. And so if you recall, he was leading the fight to defend the ACA, to defend Obamacare. And so they'll team up, a lot on the same stuff. like defending Obamacare, for example. So I don't know if they really have problems with each other. I don't know. I tried looking a little bit, surfing a little bit. Didn't look like Pelosi and Bernie really had any issues with each other. Same thing went for Schumer and Bernie, it looked like. But some really interesting stuff here, but definitely very surprising. And I had to tell you this, I know, I may be falling for bait here, but I hate Nancy Pelosi a lot less than I did, because she used to be like my least favorite politician, Democratic politician, not counting someone like Joe Manchin, because with Joe Manchin, you already know he's going to be garbage, and he's also not a leader, Nancy Pelosi is the leader. She's the forefront, right? She has all the power in the House. She's the speaker. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I don't hate her as much as before, and I hate Nancy Pelosi less than I hate Elizabeth Warren. I have to say it. I know I'm a sucker. Yeah, I get it. I know. But it's just how I feel. The hatred I have for Nancy Pelosi went from like way up here, like way down here. She's not even on my radar anymore, bro. And I think that was her goal, is to quell the hatred from somebody like me. And whether or not you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it looks like it's worked. Unfortunate or fortunately, depending on your position, right?